Okay, good morning. Welcome to
KidMath167.
KidMath167. Okay, so we were having doing some review problems today, and we had to spend a little time reviewing how graphs change when the function changes a little bit. It's supposed to be 1 point there and there. So I've drawn a graph of some function. Okay. And I want you to first, for right now, draw me the graph of y equals 2 times this function, 2f of x. Okay, so here's my graph of f of x. What does the graph of 2 times f of x look like?
Well, every y value is going to get multiplied by 2.
Okay.
So it's going to shift it up 2. For this one, it's going to shift it down 2.
Okay.
So it's going to be something steep. Maybe kind of something like that.
Okay. That's a good first try, but that is not correct. And there's some important things that are wrong with your sketch. Okay, so let's see if you can see why I could tell that attempt was not correct.
Well, because it looks almost like it's shifted. It's like shifted up. Or this is like pulled apart a little.
Okay. So why don't you try to graph a little bit more carefully, and maybe we'll stumble into what went wrong with this.
Well, I know these points are like this.
Okay.
Maybe something like that.
Well, now you're just guessing, though. That's the problem. I want you to actually tell me something very specific that was incorrect about the first graph by looking at some other points. What?
Well, like this point here is going to go up to here.
Okay. Well, there's one thing that was wrong for sure.
So on this line, some of the points go down and some of them go up.
Ah, very interesting.
And same is true for this line.
Right. That gets you sort of heading down an interesting path.
So maybe it goes up and then breaks and then continues up like that.
Okay, so how are we going to... tell me in words how you go from the graph of f of x to the graph of 2f of x.
Well, each y value, if the y value is above the x-axis, it gets multiplied by 2. It shifts up 2.
Okay.
If it's below the axis, it gets shifted down 2.
Okay. Now, do you think if you have a function that doesn't have any breaks, like see how this doesn't have any breaks, do you think multiplying by 2 is going to produce breaks?
Probably not.
Okay, probably not. This is a continuous function. That's the math word for it. And so we want to try to find me some important points on the function
that
are going to be helpful in finding the graph of 2 times it.
Well, there's this point.
Okay, where's that going to go?
That shifts up here.
Okay, awesome.
This point is going to shift down.
All right, awesome. Okay.
What other critical points? Maybe this one?
Why?
Because that's the x-intercept.
What does that mean?
That's where x equals 0.
Show me where x equals 0.
Oh wait, no. This is where x equals.
This is where
y.
x equals 0.
This is where y equals 0.
Okay, there's where y equals 0. What happens at y equals 0?
Well, it's going to stay the same because f of 0 is the same as 2 times f of 0.
All right.
So that's going to stay there.
All right.
And then this one will too.
Okay.
We've got 3 points that cross the x-axis.
Aha.
So those stay the same.
Those stay the same.
That might help.
All right. So if you were going to sketch the graph now, what do you think it would look like?
Well, this is shifted down 2.
Okay.
This is shifted up up to there.
Alright.
Then it shifted down to here. But then what do we do? But this is shifted down a little, and then it's shifted up.
Almost got it.
This one's a little puzzling.
Okay, what's puzzling about that one?
Well, it shifts. You have to pull it down, but it goes up.
Okay. How did you graph this part of the function here?
Well, this had to come in with this point.
Okay. What other points were on the axis? Didn't move. Big purple dots, please. Big purple dots. That one? Okay. How come this isn't on your graph?
It's supposed to be.
Okay. What do you think this looks like now? Okay. So you had this point here, and that point there, and they just connect up. Okay. So there you go. There's a good approximation of 2 times it. Up here, everything's multiplied by 2. Down here, everything's down by 2. The zeros are unaffected. Okay? All right.
Yep.
Good working through that. Maybe we'll find some more problems like that.